Hi, everyone. I'm Sean with Sean's Tech Blog. I'm here with Megan, and I'm here to ask her to share her wisdom, what she does in tech, etc. So, Megan, if you mind telling us a quick intro about yourself and what you're currently doing.
Thanks, Sean. Hello, everyone. I'm currently a team lead at HSOC Cyber. I have a background in criminal justice, specifically cyber forensics. And my focus right now is on helping HSOC Cyber program interns and what's the other one? Apprentices build both technical skills and professional development. And so I do that on a weekly basis.
Ooh.
You still getting
Uh,
audio? I think you're freezing up.
oh, how about now?
I can hear you fine, but the video is frozen. Okay, it unfroze. I'm not sure if maybe it's slow on my end.
Yeah, that was I don't know, that was a technical glitch. Sorry about that. All right, let's
No
get it.
worries.
Let's get into Um, as far as you had talked about it in a short that we did earlier about you kind of pivoted into cyber because your phone had some ransomware. Can you speak to did you look into schools and you said something about scholarships and what did you prefer? What's your learning method?
Okay, so at the time that ransomware attack happened on my phone, I was a fairly new college student and I was already in a criminal justice field as far as my major. And so I just pivoted my concentration into cyber forensics. So it is technically a cybersecurity or a criminal justice degree, but with a very heavy concentration on cyber forensics. And so I was able to study networking and cybersecurity through that program. And then, you know, after I graduated, there was a number of life changes for me and some moves. And I didn't really get back into cyber until a few years ago. And I Doc was one of my professors at the time. I emailed him and I said, "Hey, Doc, I've always found you inspiring, and we've stayed in touch. What are you up to these days?" And so he invited me to join them for a capture the flag event, and the rest is history.
Okay. And is there any challenges you since you started, and where are you right now when you're um what's your future, you know, goal right now?
I think right now I'm quite happy to just keep working part-time with HSOC Cyber. The tech field is changing so dramatically with the introduction of AI. It is very challenging to keep up with the speed at which we are seeing new developments. And so through HSOC Cyber, of course, I have been, you know, um, learning about AI as we go, and um, following the supercomputers that are being developed, and where they're at in the cybersecurity space. But I would say it is very challenging time to get into cybersecurity because it is changing so rapidly, so fast. And I will say that my projection, just my personal projection, would be that we will see a lot more integration in secure IT, where software that's being rolled out pays a lot more attention to security features, and that we'll see a lot more IT technicians um, be expected to have more of a cybersecurity awareness.
And then what skills right now you think matter um right now to be in I guess it would be a security position, I guess namely SOC, right? In SOC environments.
I would
Um
say the number one skill really is Linux, having a very good foundation in Linux basics. So command line, maybe some PowerShell scripting, Bash scripting, and having a really good grasp on that. And then also knowing the different SOC tools like Wireshark and Snort and Zeek, different tools that can help with log analysis. Although we again are seeing a lot of AI taking over the the heaviest part of the SOC, which is, you know, going through all the logs over and over again all day long.
Okay, and then I want to do a follow up question to that because I rarely hear that, right? Linux, because a lot of what I hear out there is, you know, do your hack needs, your try hack the box, hack, you know, whatever blue level. Rarely do you hear, you know, learn Linux, learn computer networking, learn. I don't know if I call them hard skills, so to speak. I don't think that's the wording for it, but they're above average skills, you know,
Yeah, I
technical
would say
Linux,
that
you know,
Linux is
programming.
definitely a more technical skill. And the
Yeah.
reason why I say that is because the world really does run on Linux. A lot of the data farms, data servers, they're all going to be running on Linux. And we're also seeing a dramatic shift right now that people are moving away from Microsoft and, you know, experiencing with Linux-based operating systems more. It has actually been quite fascinating to follow that. I think for me personally, I am using Linux more myself just because when Microsoft made the switch from the upgrade from Windows 11 or Windows 10 to Windows 11, so many of the still good computers just wouldn't make the upgrade. And so a lot of people switched to Linux then.
Okay. And then I want to go into bonus time here if we can, if you got time.
I do.
Um, I want to ask about certain things like what do you recommend as far as, you know, doing home for somebody that's, you know, trying to get into tech, uh, home labs, portfolio building, demoing YouTube. You know, I know that's a lot, but I'll throw it back at you as we go through it. But building a portfolio, what would you say to that? Where should they start, etc.?
Um, I will say that it is for professional development. Having a website is very nice, and you can use Google Sites as a free platform for that if you have a Gmail account. However, it is very common in the IT field to build your portfolio in GitHub. And for a lot of newcomers, GitHub seems very overwhelming. However, there is a lot of YouTube videos and there are a lot of templates available that you can kind of, as long as you know a little bit of programming, a little bit of HTML or Python, you can easily, and you can easily learn those things. You can build a GitHub profile, and I think that that has more weight than just a website because it shows technical skills. I can't think of the word I wanted.
Okay, so you're thinking like
Aptitude.
okay, yeah, I'm thinking you know, because programming is its own beast, right? That's what I
It
think.
is, and it is
I'm like
also very, you know, very wide. Like we have all these different programming languages.
very daunting for a new beginner. I know it's certainly daunting for me because I'm like not even thinking about Linux right now. I'm like, let me just work on my networking plus right now, and then I'm shifting to Linux. But and then after that, it's the programming, right? And but they're all daunting. Well, you can learn a little bit of this, but it can be challenging, right? For the GitHub, I have a GitHub account, but I haven't, you know, created the templates yet. Okay, and then let's go into shifting gears into videos. You right, demoing. How can people, you know, should they be putting their YouTube? Should it be perfect or just do it, like Nike says?
Yes, I would say that Nike is correct. Just do it because you learn through repetition. You learn through learning from your mistakes. If you just consume information on how to do something, but you don't actually learn it, I mean, it really is a trial by fire. You have to go through the actual creation phase to gain momentum. My first videos were very low quality. They are getting better gradually, but it does take time, and you have to experiment with different formats because some people prefer doing it one way and other people prefer doing it another way. But I will say even if you're just using snipping tool on your computer and recording it just with a screen recording, it's still, I mean, even just for your records, it's incredibly helpful if you have to go back and recreate a project.
Okay, and then I want to go into portfolio and GitHub, not GitHub, Google Sites, right? What would you be putting there? Your resume, and then just start adding stuff as you go, or what would you say is important to put up there?
Um, I think a nice landing page is important that has, you know, a small bio about yourself and what your certifications are, and then, you know, proof of certifications, you know, either on the site itself or the link to like Credly where they can verify your credentials. On my own portfolio, I have cybersecurity projects, but then I also have samples of technical writing, and I have um, listed out different projects that I've done in the past that, while they aren't cybersecurity related, they do show, you know, strong project management skills and also you know, a fairly strong work history. So I would
Oh,
definitely encourage, you know, don't just do cybersecurity, like show yourself as the whole professional, because most of us have professional development in many other fields besides cybersecurity that are every bit as important on the job.
okay, so I want to do a follow-up question with that. So when you're saying, you're trying to break into tech from, I guess I'm assuming pivoting from another role, still demonstrate what you've done before. I'm assuming, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, so
As
for
far as projects?
example, let's say that you're working at McDonald's, but you're an avid gamer and you have, you know, all these skills from gaming, but it's a hobby. But you could add that to your portfolio. Like, as a hobby, I love to do silly videos on how to, you know, different IT skills and just kind of make them whimsical. That's my hobby, but it is also tech related. And so I would say that with gaming is the same way. Like, maybe you're working at McDonald's as a manager. Well, that's managerial skills, and you have the gaming background, and now you are adding all this IT experience in addition. And so, well, obviously you can manage, you know, a small team. You have technical aptitude, and you put in the work to get the certifications and the training.
Okay. And then I'm gonna go into maybe it's personal, maybe not. Has hiring managers reached out? And how do you deal with them right now, or not deal with them? That's probably not the right word. How do you communicate to them, like what you're looking for? What How do you demonstrate you know what skills you have versus their job description, or do you even bother? Um, Now I'm trying to not challenge them if they want something specific. I'm just an
Yeah,
example
absolutely.
last week. I'm like, oh, if you want 4 years, I don't have 4 years. I'll just pass. If it's
So
very
I have
strict.
had a few, you know, hiring managers reach out. I have had some interviews, and for me, it really boils down to, I'm very much of a personal network person, and so I really like to know, you know, the environment and the people that I might be working with in the job before I even apply. And I will say that in our fast-paced modern work environment, it is very hard to make those personal connections. And so, so far I haven't found the right fit, but I have worked with different hiring companies and with different local um, government offices to, you know, go through the interview process, and they've been very interesting positions, but so far I haven't found the right fit.
Okay. And can I do a follow up? What
Sure.
what is it that they're looking for? And what kind of roles are were these being offered, or not offered, promoted?
So far, what I have seen, and I think a lot of it is because I'm not specifically focusing on entry level jobs. Like, I'm beyond entry level, but I'm not quite mid level yet. And so what I see a lot of with entry level is a little too basic, But for the mid-level jobs, a lot of the mid-level openings out there, they're wanting to bring someone in that already has advanced knowledge in one or two specific areas. And even though it's not reflected necessarily in the job description, that is ultimately what they've been looking for. And I would say that even though I have more advanced knowledge than a beginner, I don't necessarily have very specific knowledge in the fields they were looking for.
Okay. And are some of these like SQL database, those type of requirements?
No, most of these are either specifically networking or they're wanting somebody that knows both cybersecurity and, for example, cloud platforms.
Okay, like Azure, AWS, or Google.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, because cloud is its own thing, and you can get. I feel like it's a rabbit hole. There's so many certs, so much things to learn, and they're always constantly changing, right? The dashboards change, etc.
And I think you have to take into consideration the area that you live. Like the area where I am, if I went to more in-person IT events and networked more in person, I have been told by others in the community on LinkedIn that that is like the way to join the tribe. But so far, I've just, we moved this past year and I'm still trying to get, everything. I don't know, life is still a juggle. It's a juggling act. And so I'm still waiting, I guess, to hit the right equilibrium for going to more events.
Okay, yeah, that's important. Different areas are harder than others.
Yeah, you go to a big
Uh,
metropolitan area, there's going to be less of that. But even still, the IT and especially the cybersecurity fields, they're a very close knit, very small community compared to like, I don't know, professional like HR or something. It's a very niche group of people. And so everybody kind of knows everybody a little bit.
okay. Um. Well. Let's see. We've touched on the portfolio. I feel like I'm missing something here. What makes a candidate, stand out? Maybe branding on LinkedIn, and maybe networking. We've talked about the in person right now. That if you can do it, if you can't, you can't do it, right? But
I will say for myself that I am finding that my professional development, like how I present myself and my branding, I think that it's coming on a little strong for the
okay,
jobs that I'm looking for. Like I said, it's not quite entry level, but I mean, I'm beyond entry level, but not quite mid level yet for most of the roles that I've applied for. Um, and I will say that a lot of my applications are because you get better at doing things the more you try. So there is definitely a learning curve there. But what I am finding more and more is that I really am a blue collar girl, and I'm not seeing that the white collar environments are quite. I don't quite have a grasp on the jargon and the culture. Whereas with the blue collar IT networking fields, I just am much more comfortable in those zones. Like I understand the culture, I understand the work environment much better, and so I am finding the transition into white collar jobs somewhat mysterious. So I am
okay,
learning as I go, but there is definitely some element of the culture and the jargon that I have yet to learn. And so, yes, I definitely would benefit from mentorship. But a lot of that, you don't know what you don't know, so you don't know what to ask. So it's kind of a learning through, again, trial by fire.
okay, sure. I think we've reached the conclusion right here at this good stopping point. I'd like to have you on again, as we further, go on. Is there anything final you want to say? Maybe how they reach you, or what you're looking for, or any words of encouragement, something like that.
Yeah, I'd say that if you're looking for a field that has endless opportunities and there's always something new to learn, you'll never get bored, and it's definitely up your lane. But if that's not really your groove, like you don't want to constantly be learning a new programming language, and you don't want to learn, if a lot of these things, for example, if you're not willing to just Google, how do I get started with Linux? Like, you start there. If you're willing to Google that and find the answer, you're on the right path to an IT career. But if you don't even know where to start, and you're not really willing to do the work involved, because it is very, very technical and there is a lot of work involved. I would say that the number one thing that you have to be willing to do pursuing anything in IT or cybersecurity is, one, have a curious mind, and two, know that you're going to have to find the answers yourself. You're going to have to be the sleuth to find the answers to the mysteries.
Okay. Well, this has been fun, Megan. I'm Sean with Sean's Tech Blog. I reach out to guest speakers. So if you're wanting to get on my podcast, or if you're a job seeker, posting open to work, I do open to work interviews on my YouTube channel. I want to thank Megan again here for sharing her wisdom with us on my very small platform, Sean's Tech Blog. See you guys again on the next episode. I'm going to stop the recording now.